Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. Well, good morning, my friends. Welcome back. It is good to see you again. It's good to be back in here. I have been looking forward to this leg day for days now. We're in here doing some heavy squats on our squat max. And my goodness, it is treating us well today. We warmed up with some hamstring curls over there. And as you may have noticed, I finally stopped being lazy and drilled the hole that I started months ago before the cheap step drill bit I broke just couldn't do anything anymore. I finally finished that hole so that I could put a loading pin through it and have a surface for my rubber bands to kind of anchor off of and allow them to stretch a little bit more as we work through that movement. I've got to say, the effects of that were almost immediate, and I'm really glad I finally did that. It's not a crazy increase in weight, but that weight curve feels so much more consistent now throughout that range of motion. If you've got one of these machines and you don't have the ability to hook a rubber band on like that, I highly suggest you figure out a way to DIY it. It's a very simple job, and I'm pretty sure just about any of us can perform that. Today, though, our main focus is destroying our quads. We did some squat max squats here, and we're going to be doing some seated leg extensions here in a minute. But I got to try out a very, very cool new product today, and I gotta be honest, I was not expecting myself to like it as much as I did. Today, we've got the Squat Harness V3 by Jason Rosenblatt. Jason and I connected on Instagram, and he sent me over one of these squat harnesses to try out. And I was a little skeptical that I would even really be making use of this thing, because what good could a squat harness be if for nothing other than to replace a barbell? And I love barbell back squats. Well, that's exactly what this squat harness is for. However, its main intended purpose is actually to be used on cable pulley systems. Now, I've got a dual cable pulley system over on the Smith machine that Evil Pow sent me, and this thing works fantastically. But today, I wanted to use it on the Squat Max with this central loading pin. One, because I love my Squat Max, and two, I wanted to test out this device to see how versatile it could be. You see, the squat harness has two sets of these hooks, and these are heavy duty, people. These are rated for over 750 pounds when on a cable machine. But Jason says not to load more than 500 pounds on it if you're loading a barbell or a hex bar onto it. And we'll get to that here in just a few moments. Now, the straps and buckles and everything on there are super robust and super durable. You can tell just by the feel of these things. But you've got a pair of them, one on each side. And so I didn't know how well it was going to work when connecting to a single point in the middle like it would have to on my Squat Max. It blew every expectation I could have for it out of the water. It worked flawlessly. What I did do was I tried it out with one of these shackles that I have laying around. I wanted to see if maybe just connecting the two inside this closed loop and using one single hook would make it better. And it did. Unfortunately, the straps themselves were a little bit too long for me to get it short enough so that I wouldn't bottom out just at the bottom as I'm starting to hit parallel. Not the end of the world. You could certainly change that by putting some blocks under your feet, and that's going to be completely unique to the Squat Max here. If you're doing the same thing on a cable machine, you could simply take another step back and you're not ever going to have to worry about bottoming out on a machine like that, so long as the cables for that machine are long enough. However, I did also take that shackle off and I used the squat harness without that central shackle, and I had plenty of room in the squat harness. Now, I did have those straps at their absolute shortest, so an area that I would love to see improved on this is potentially making it so that the straps have a little bit more adjustability. They do still have some extra room on here, even with them at their shortest. I'm gonna guess that's about 4 inches right there of room that I can't get rid of, even with these shackles adjusted to their shortest length. But when you extend them all the way, they get close to about 8 inches long. So we've got between about 4 and 8 inches here, maybe 4 and 6 inches that we're working with of adjustability, but we can't get any shorter than that. I'd be in favor of shortening those up and maybe just offering some additional chains. Chain link is super cheap. Most people who have a home gym have them, and you're gonna be able to get a lot of additional length out of that kind of stuff that you've got lying around to use for all of your other implements. The harness itself, though, was like super, super comfortable. very padded on the shoulders, and honestly, the way it distributes that load over your back, I loved it. Again, as I mentioned, I had literally no idea how I could ever want to bring this into my regular workouts as a substitute for my barbells, but I loved two things about it. Number one, it spreads that whole load over my back. And with all the adjustment points that this harness has on it, you're going to be able to make this as comfortable as possible for anybody's body. Additionally, the loops in the front allow you to simulate a safety squat bar. They are strapped down onto there and they are not going anywhere, so that you can pull and tug on those as hard as you want to help stabilize yourself and keep yourself upright as you're working through that plane of motion. Having that additional surface to brace yourself up against felt absolutely amazing. A lot of people struggle sometimes with a belt squat because they feel like they should be holding on to something. And while on the Squat Max and many other machines there are handles that you can prop yourself up against, some of us also feel that maybe you should just let your arms sit in front of you to really make sure your legs are doing all of the work. I'm wide enough that I can put myself between these bars and kind of just use my shoulders as bumpers, but you might not be, and you may need to be able to hold on to something to stabilize yourself. Holding onto the squat harness is going to give you that extra stability by allowing you to brace against yourself. It's not going to stop you from falling over or give you a thing to brace up against to push yourself up on or make that lift any easier, but it is going to give you that little bit of added stability and that subconscious feeling of an extra bit of safety. This is honestly an incredible device. It's so simple, yet it achieves so much in a small form factor. Not only can we use it here though, on our belt squat or any of our cable machines, but you can also take this thing and strap it directly to a barbell to do things like stiff-legged deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, etc. I haven't tried out a ton of other movements just yet, although I am determined to try out some other stuff, like some lunges, for example. But I gotta say too, that using it on the barbell was very interesting. You don't have to go all the way down to the bottom of the ground to lift that bar up. You can simply attach these things to their loops, hook them in, and stand up and start doing your Romanian deadlifts, your stiff-legged deadlifts. Is this going to replace completely the need to do any of these exercises? Absolutely not. But it's just another accessory and another tool that you can add to your toolbox to give yourself a little bit of additional versatility in your home gym for a very small footprint and price. These things retail for $177, and Jason has them both on his website and on Amazon, and I'm going to leave links below for you all to go check them out. I highly recommend you do, because again, this is one of those tools that I've tried out that I'm like, oh, why is this so simple yet so effective? Kabuki's obviously come out with their recent squat harness type thing that can be a safety squat bar alternative for just about anything as well. And this is going to be very similar to that. However, this product has been around a lot longer. As I mentioned, this is version 3, and I know Jason has more enhancements and more upgrades that he wants to make to this line too. Whether you're a beginner or you've been in the gym for decades, I think there's some stuff on Jason's website that's really going to help you out. So check that link down below, especially if you're interested in reading up more on the squat harness. And if you have questions on it, please drop them down in the comments. I would love to answer them for you and love to continue to put these things through some more trials. I'm going to be doing a dedicated review here after I've been able to use this harness for a bit more time. This is the actual first workout that I've done with the squat harness, and I'm very, very impressed by it. I think I'm most impressed with how stable I actually feel. As many sets and reps as I've done on this belt squat machine by Titan, I was skeptical that I was going to be able to get a better workout than I can with just the belt on the belt squat. And my goodness, my glutes and my quads are fried right now. This thing felt fantastic, and I cannot stress this enough. It was so comfortable, so comfortable. The padding on it is perfect. It's not too cumbersome. It's not making me sweat additionally. And I've got to rave about these buckles, people. When I received this in the mail, I messaged Jason almost immediately and I said, dude, these are the most heavy-duty buckles I have ever seen in my entire life. He said previous versions had been using plastic buckles or something similar, and people were complaining about them because they had a tendency to break or just be flimsy. These buckles are not breaking. I'm pretty sure That Air Force One uses these buckles on that dang airplane to secure anybody within that thing. Seriously, these are the most heavy duty buckles I've ever seen on anything in my entire life. I would trust these more than the seatbelts in my car to keep me safe. No exaggeration. Yes, it does look like BDSM gear, and whips and chains can tend to excite me. But this squat harness, whether you're using it in the gym or the bedroom, is definitely something I'll consider adding to my repertoire, especially if you have a home gym. But even if you don't, that thing can literally fold up and be thrown into any duffel bag that you might take to the gym to use in any commercial gym around the country. And because its main intended purpose is to be hooked up to cable machines, you're always going to be able to get a good squat workout in, even if, for example, you're in a hotel gym that has no squat rack, but always has one of these free motion dual cable arms that you can load some weight up onto. As somebody who travels to work sometimes, this is absolutely going to be going into my travel bag to make sure that I can always do some kind of great leg workout. So stay tuned for more workouts with this bad boy. Again, loved it. Thank you so much to Jason and his team for sending this on over and continuing to work to improve how we're able to do these workouts in our home gyms. If you have more questions on the squat harness, drop it down in the comments below. Let me know what you're wondering about, what kind of tests you want me to put it through, because I'm going to be doing some more and more testing in the coming days and weeks before I put out a full review, extensive review of this product. And you'll be able to see that here on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and some highlights on TikTok too. Thanks again for being here, everybody. Really appreciate you. Keep getting better every day. I know you can do it. I know some days are harder than others, but I believe in you. I really do.